Want to welcome those in the gallery who are here today for our sitting, and I suspect particularly for the sectoral presentations by our two members, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and Member of Parliament for St. Andrew North Eastern, the Honourable Delroy Chuck, and Member of Parliament for St. Catherine North Central, Mrs. Natalie Nita Garvey. Madam Speaker, at this time, as is customary, I ask for you to suspend the agenda items to allow for the sectoral presentation to be at the front of the
Thank you, House Leader. House, the question is we suspend the items on the agenda to allow for the sectoral debate under public business. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. I will now welcome the Minister, Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew North Eastern, the Honourable Delroy Chuck.
Madam Speaker, I ask permission to speak from a seat other than my home.
Permission granted, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I rise this afternoon with a deep sense of satisfaction, mixed with a tinge of humility, on what is my 11th consecutive year of sectoral presentation. Yeah. And last, by no means least, 29 years of uninterrupted public service as a Member of Parliament. Madam Speaker, this is no easy feat, and I express immense gratitude to my constituents of the great constituency of St. Andrew North Eastern for placing confidence in the continuous efforts towards a safe and peaceful constituency. Madam Speaker, thanks to the Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, for his trust and confidence in my stewardship, my fellow cabinet ministers, and to all the members of Parliament for their support in ensuring a collective approach towards building a stronger justice system. During the past year, Madam Speaker, the ongoing efforts to further improve the justice system have been a major challenge and were made extremely more difficult as a result of the onslaught of Hurricane Melissa, which wreaked havoc on the court infrastructure and other justice facilities. Throughout the difficult period, Madam Speaker, the dedicated, hard-working team at the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and its departments and agency, led by Permanent Secretary Mrs. Grace Ann Stewart McFarlane, continued the task of ensuring that members of the public had access to the wide range of justice services. I must emphasize, Madam Speaker, that the heavy burden of maintaining an improved justice system is not the sole task of the ministry, and I must commend my able and supportive State Minister, the Honourable Marissa Dalrymple Filbert, and her team. Chief Justice, the Honourable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Supreme Court judges and Parish Court judges, and the Court Administration Division led by Mrs. Tricia Cameron Anglin, who I see in the gallery. President of the Court of Appeal, the Honourable Mrs. Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop, and other judges of appeal. Attorney General Dr. Derek McCoy, Solicitor General Mrs. Marlene Aldred and her team, Director of Prosecutions Ms. Claudette Thompson and her team, and Madam Speaker, I pay tribute to the former Director of Public Prosecutions, Ms. Paula Llewellyn, who retired last year after serving 17 years as Jamaica's first female Director of Public Prosecution. To the Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council, Mrs. Diane Watson and her team, Administrator General and Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Stacey Ann Carty and her team, Chief Parliamentary Counsel, Ms. Judith Grant and her team, Director, Legal Reform, Ms. Nadine Wilkins and her team, and our esteemed stakeholders, to include civil society and other sectors who remain committed to building a stronger justice system. Madam Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to highlight the ongoing partnerships involving our international partners, especially in the area of funding, technical expertise, and related matters. The support from the following international partners is immeasurable: Global Affairs Canada, the United Nations Development Programme, the United Nations Children Fund, the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, the Government of Rwanda and the Rwanda Cooperative Initiative Limited, International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Section in the United States Embassy, the European Union Delegation to Jamaica. Madam Speaker, other important stakeholders, including the Custodes Rotalorum, Justice of the Peace, and the public, play a major role in the overall quest towards a modern justice system, and to all I owe a debt of gratitude for urging me on to ensure the task of building a stronger justice system, that it does not remain a mere pipe dream. Madam Speaker, I stand here today on the stellar efforts of my two long-standing counsels, Joy Cottrell and Winston Ennis. My constituency liaison officer, Wayne Lawrence, all of whom and my constituency secretary, Monique Tyndale, all of whom have consistently delivered towards my retaining the job of leading the constituency of Northeast St. Andrew. These officers and the extended political team continue to work overtime to address the needs and uplift the lives of the constituents. Madam Speaker, as I travel the length and breadth of Jamaica to hammer home the message of peace and unity, I must highlight the support of my close protection officer, Inspector Howard Hamilton, and my able and willing driver, O'Neill Ennis. Madam Speaker, last but not least, the support of my wife, Patricia, who is here in the audience. I mean, 48 years and continuing. There's no doubt she deserves an OM. And my 4 daughters and 6 grandchildren, their support cannot be underestimated. Thanks for my wife for being here today. Madam Speaker, it is an open secret that Hurricane Melissa left a trail of destruction on our court facilities in the West, namely Trelawney, St. Anne, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And picking up the pieces has not been easy. Funding the repairs and identifying appropriate locations continue to be a challenge. With the requisite input, however, we are now embarking on a major program of resilience to improve the existing court infrastructure, the details of which I will share with this honorable House in short order. But Madam Speaker, on the road to a stronger justice system is not an easy one. For the nation to move forward, I impress on all Jamaicans to make greater use of our social justice services, that is restorative justice, victim services, child diversion, mediation, as both and as they all are programs, they continue to reap rich rewards in dealing with domestic disputes, domestic conflicts, and other forms of abuses. I issue my annual and persistent call to my fellow MPs and all Jamaicans to help spread the word that help is but a phone call away. 1-888-JUSTICE, 1-587-8423, to engage a member of the ministry's team to identify and provide help in minimizing the numerous incidents of abuse and disputes that occur in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our parish, and across Jamaica. We need to reduce them. Yes. Madam Speaker, Jamaica's continued progress rests on the strength of our shared commitment and determined action. Together, we're forging a justice system that is stronger, more responsive, and uncompromising in its pursuit of accountability and the rule of law. As we look to the future, Let us remain steadfast in our mission to build a society where justice prevails, opportunities are equitable, and every individual is afforded fairness, dignity, and protection under the law. Madam Speaker, the last fiscal year, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and the judiciary made significant progress, as we have been doing for the past 5, 8, and 10 years and more. Our modernization and digitization efforts are advancing steadily, and our outreach programs have impacted thousands of Jamaicans. New policies and legislation were developed and implemented. These achievements took place despite the severe challenges brought by Hurricane Melissa and its devastating impact on the justice sector, on our stakeholders, and all Jamaicans. Madam Speaker, in pursuit of a stronger justice system, which is our sectoral theme this year, the former Ministry of Justice and the former Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs merged to become the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in September 2025. Our vision of a first-class justice system remains clear and focused. As we modernize our justice system and provide Jamaicans with greater efficiency, we continue to promote the rule of law, peace, harmony, and goodwill. Our justice system continues to grow in the delivery of justice and access to justice offered to Jamaicans. Once again, to all Jamaicans listening, I remind them help is a phone call away. 1-888-JUSTICE, 1-888-587-8423 for any justice service. I wish, Madam Speaker, to emphasize, and you will soon get the booklet, where the appendices with all the data of the successes and plans will be laid out in greater detail. In fact, the appendices will be more than the presentation because the material is there and I have limited time. Madam Speaker, I wish to salute the Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, and his hard-working team of judges and staff at the Court Administration Division for their efforts in assisting in building a stronger justice system. Over the last fiscal year, the ministry increased its island-wide focus on those locations in the justice system where the infrastructure needed repairs. The extensive loss, as indicated, caused by Hurricane Melissa, brought to many justice sector facilities, including the island's courthouses and justice centers, fortified the need for us, more than ever, to double our efforts to strengthen the justice system. Madam Speaker, many of these courthouses were built approximately 100 years ago, with some dating back more than 100 years. The truth, Madam Speaker, is that they have served their time. Virtually all lifting is a problem. And not only are we doing that, Madam Speaker, we are encouraging Jamaicans, and I will do so in this parliament, start practicing estate planning. Put aside a little of the money for a rainy day and then shift it to your retirement benefit later on. Very important. And as we go across the island, we will team it up with alternative dispute resolution. And many of you will recall, I provided a concept paper on alternative dispute resolution. But this, Madam Speaker, colleagues, is to ensure that persons start taking responsibility for their financial situation. Get into estate planning. Make a will. Plan for your retirement. Because, Madam Speaker, when you do that, we have less work on the Administrator General. At the moment, Madam Speaker, they have close to $50 billion worth of properties to manage. And most of these properties are deteriorating. It's more important that we try to get it to the beneficiaries. And they have over close to $5 billion, which we really would like to dispose of to the beneficiaries. And we are going around the country on a regular basis, urging beneficiaries to get together, work with the Administrator General, we are going to train some mediators down at the Administrator General Department so they can get persons together to work out and collect the benefits of the deceased estate. So, Madam Speaker, it's very important that we emphasize how important it is for every Jamaican to think about estate planning and making a will and stop the foolishness about it gives a bad omen. We need to get out of that culture. Madam Speaker, the Legal Aid Council has done extremely well. What I can tell you, apart from judgment debt, you remember judgment debt? When we came to office, everybody was owed money. Nobody has heard for the last 5 years about anybody being owed, because for the last 5 years, we paid all the settled judgment debt. And it is the same, Madam Speaker, with legal aid. When I came to office in 2016, all the lawyers said, beg Mr. Chop, see if you can put some more money so our certificates can be paid. For the last 4 years, we have to be writing lawyers and sending the certificates so we can pay you before the end of the fiscal year. And so every single attorney, if you're owed, if anyone is owed, let me know. Because once you send in your certificates, within days, we pay. What is more, Madam Speaker, where we pay a flat sum, but if the matters continue longer than 2 weeks, we pay them an increased amount. And we pay them on a proportionate basis continuously. But, Madam Speaker, the member from Northeast St. Elizabeth once again said, you need, no, she knows that we have money to pay all the lawyers in the criminal court. She won't know for civil court. But again, member from Northeast St. Elizabeth, if you had done your research, you know that we start doing it. We did. This government is a very prudent government. You don't spend money, and you don't know how much will be spent and where it is coming from. So we did 2 pilot projects in St. Anne and Clarendon, and we are working on that basis to see how we roll out civil case matters. Right. Now, what I can say, all right. What I can say is that from over 4 or 5 years ago, we have been in discussion about additional sums to pay in civil cases. But more importantly, Madam Speaker, we were supposed to have 3 legal aid clinics. One of them at Tower Street was being managed by the Kingston Legal Aid Clinic. Unfortunately, it has been taken over by a private practitioner. And so legal aid services not being provided there. We have been begging this private practitioner to give up the place so we can renovate it and provide civil legal aid cases, and we're hoping it will be done during the course of this year. Madam Speaker, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution is indeed absolutely effective in building a stronger justice system based on the efficient way in which it is handling its portfolio and prosecuting serious crimes. In fact, I've been informed that the office has been invited to assess and assist other countries to share some of their successful swift action models in handling these crimes. These countries are among the 22 countries and jurisdictions on the Financial Action Task Force, the FATF. Madam Speaker, this country should be proud of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. It is working steadfastly to ensure that serious criminals are put to the prisons or that they get their justice. And so, Madam Speaker, if you look at Appendix 12, you will see the performance of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. The Office of the Parliamentary Council, Madam Speaker, they're the ones who draft the laws. Here again, CPC, Judith Grant and her team, they're doing a fantastic amount of work. And I once again ask you to look at Appendix 13 to see the performance of the OPC. Then, Madam Speaker, I ask members to look at Appendix 14 at the Justice Training Institute, where we are sensitizing hundreds of JPs and others. It is doing a fantastic job, and it is continuous to ensure that court reporters, we have a court reporting work going on now, and court reporters are coming from the rest of the Caribbean to go to study there to become court reporters. So in short order, there will be no shortage of court reporters. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Justice has to deal with marriage licenses. If you want to get married, you have to get a marriage license. You can go to the Ministry of Justice, and within 24 hours, you get a marriage license. You have to find a lady first. and I say, Madam, and I say that these certificates, everything can be done, and it is done within 24 hours. We will be digitizing that service in short order. Madam Speaker, you can look at Appendix 15 and see the expungement of criminal records. You will see, Madam Speaker, that in the expungement of criminal records, we widened the act a couple months ago, which allow us now that if you committed a non-custodial offense before 2005, which is an expungable offense, you can get your records expunged. I have to report that tens of thousands of these have been expunged. But members applicants, these ex-offenders, no longer have to apply. If the records show that this non-custodial offense was there, then it should not be on the official criminal records. Oh, 20 minutes. I don't get the 15 minutes in. You're lying. No. Madam Speaker, I would only urge persons, we have now increased the number of commissioners on the expungement committee to 9. And they're meeting at least once per week, sometimes twice per week, to get rid of the backlog. We had about 2,000, it's now under 1,000, and we hope in another couple months.
Minister Chuck, I am going to break you, and I'm going to add your additional time because I realize you're rushing as if you do not know that there is additional time.
15 minutes, I am aware.
Right, so we're going to put it on now, Minister Chuck.
I actually need it, Madam Speaker. No. But I would like to urge ex-offenders that don't wait until you're traveling. Don't wait until you need you apply for a new job. If you know you've committed an offense, you can apply and hopefully get the record expunged. Especially those who had drug offenses. You will recall, colleagues, that we remove the drug offenses from the third schedule. And also, if your sentence was more than 5 years, but less than 10 years, you're now eligible for those expungable offenses. Madam Speaker, this Parliament should be proud that we are able to give people a second chance. And Madam Speaker, I am sure many of you who have spoken to me and we will be able to help you, the members are so thankful for getting a second chance. And that is very important for our people. Madam Speaker, I come to Justices of the Peace Services. And last week, Madam Speaker, when the member from Northeast said to the today, when I was trying, Madam Speaker, I got up to prevent her from misinforming the parliament. When she got up and said, JP should be paid a stipend. I said, but you do your research. We have been doing it for the last 3 years. Every JP can now appeal to their JP Parish Association to recover. Can I ask? So, to ask for recovery. 1 second. They are not. They are. Every parish. Every parish.
Minister Chuck.
Every parish.
Minister Chuck.
Every parish.
Minister Chuck.
Now get $1 million
Minister Chuck.
annually.
Minister Chuck. Minister Chuck.
So that JPs who serve in the lay magistrates court,
Minister Chuck.
JPs who work with the police, who have to sit,
Member Cuthbert-Finn, could you get Minister Chuck's attention?
who have to serve, who have to be at the police station.
Minister Chuck, could you be so kind as to take your seat?
Sure.
Minister Chuck, members on the opposition benches, I would like to hear the minister's presentation. No, I am very serious about it. Minister Chuck, Ms. Brandon, give the minister back his time. Give him back his time. No? Minister
All right,
Chuck.
I have time.
Minister Chuck. Minister Chuck. Minister Chuck, please take your seat. Members, please take out your standing orders and refer. Please take out your standing orders and refer to standing orders 40 and standing orders 42. Separate and apart from persons asking for intervention, the level of noise is such that I cannot hear the member present at all, which is a requirement of the House rules. Minister Chuck, I have restored your time. And members, if you continue, then Minister Chuck is going to get even more time to complete his presentation.
No. No. Member, we'll finish in time. We'll finish in time. Madam Speaker, no other Minister of Justice has done more for the GPs than this minister. And that is why we have more than doubled the number of GPs in the island. We have monthly sensitization to empower our GPs even more to provide more justice services to the people across the country. Madam Speaker, talk about stipend. Any GP who is serving in the courts with the police taking witness statement and they have to spend time, they can collect a stipend. But Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, the idea of paying JPs regularly is out. It won't happen. Madam Speaker, the JPs, apart from those services in the court, spirit license, lay magistrate, children's court, where they can get a stipend, what do? They witness identities, they give recommendations, and they witness signatures. Madam Speaker, all of these services that the JPs now provide, the Minister of Religion, a police officer, a principal of a school can provide that service. If these other persons, if we decide to pay JPs, would those other people be entitled to be paid to? You must see, all the JPs that I know, that I have interacted with, they have said that JP service is voluntary. We want to help our people. And those JPs who are charging, they're corrupting the system. They're a part of the corruption of taxi drivers getting more than one license. They used to corrupt the passport, and we want to decommission any of them charging. Because the truth of the matter is, JPs realize, and we must all realize, the biblical maxim, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And that is what I urge on all the JPs. When you go and you give volunteer service, in the long run, you get a huge amount of blessing. And they're not unhappy to do it. And, Madam Speaker, if the member from Northeast St. Elizabeth had done her homework, she would see that across the Commonwealth, Canada, Australia, across the Commonwealth that has JPs, it's a voluntary service. Only in one province in Canada, Saskatchewan, where some JPs are employed and they're paid differently. And not only that, Madam Speaker, JPs can also be trained as mediators, restorative justice facilitators, and they can get a stipend when they participate in restorative justice and also mediation. And I encourage JPs to do that. So please, member from Northeast St. Elizabeth. Well, you know, I must tell you the truth. I really felt sorry for you. Because when you're talking, it's clear you did not. It is clear you did not have much in the justice sector to criticize. So you went all over the place, including the Firearms Act, which is in the Ministry of National Security, including talking about, arresting the powers of police. So I was really sorry for you that you had to go all over the place instead of sticking to justice matters. Madam Speaker, during the course of last year, we commissioned 28 new notary publics, and they have now 130. Madam Speaker, that is in Appendix 18. If you look at Appendix 19, you will see the amount of money we have been spending on infrastructure. And Madam Speaker, it is the same with information and communication technology. Look at Appendix 20 and you see what we have done. But I want to touch on another item, constitutional reform. Human rights. Madam Speaker, Jamaica's constitution is the supreme law, guaranteeing freedom, rights and privileges to all Jamaicans. It is a cornerstone of an efficient, accessible, and stronger justice system. Let me pause here to recognize and thank the former Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, MP Marlene Malahoo Fort, who along with then Permanent Secretary Wayne Robertson and team and Lieutenant Rocky Mead held several town hall meetings and provided Parliament with a well-documented report by the Constitutional Reform Committee. Madam Speaker, the Constitution Amendment Republic Bill 2024 was already tabled to remove the monarch. Once again, Madam Speaker, for Jamaica's sake, let us look at the bill and see how it can be amended if necessary and modified so that this Parliament, at the earliest possible time, can debate and remove the monarch. We need to become a republic. There is no need to delay this process. The final appellate court will come to Jamaica, but it is a matter that we want to take to the people in further constitutional town hall meetings. You see, Madam Speaker, the final appellate court has many possibilities. We can go the route of Hong Kong, where the final appellate court consists of international judges and Hong Kong judges, and they sit as the final appellate court. I don't mind if the final appellate court in Jamaica, the 5 Caribbean court judges sit, but it must be a Jamaican final court. This CCJ, and what is behind it was well put by Sheriff Ramphal, where he said that the CCJ is the beginning to reintegrate the Caribbean. Is that what we want? We need to discuss it at town hall meetings. Is that what we want? A Caribbean Union? That CARICOM, no problem. But we don't have a Caribbean legal system. And I would like to be able to elaborate on this at town hall meetings. So, Madam Speaker, I urge, and this Parliament must urge and invite the opposition leader to let us restart the constitutional process. So, Madam Speaker, we can do a fair amount of piecemeal, putting in the Electoral Commission of Jamaica as a part of it, the public defender, and other pieces. But without the consensus of this Parliament, it doesn't make sense. But if we're not going to go and do a process, we may well have to do it. Because we have bills there to put in the Electoral Commission and the public defender as a part of the Constitution. But we want it to be a consensus of this Parliament. I urge, talk to the leader of the opposition all the way over there, and let's get on with the job. In the meantime, Madam Speaker, we have continued the strategic and targeted public education program on the Constitution. As part of our sustained legal education efforts, we distributed more than 400 Jamaican branded consolidated copies of the Constitution, and I know my Minister of State was at UTEC, UWI distributing Constitution and engaging in public education. Madam Speaker, we look forward to a renewed effort to get our Constitution reflecting what we want. Now, Madam Speaker, human rights is a very important part of this government and of this minister. Yes. And as I go across the country, I promote the respect for one another's human rights. Yes. And I will continue to do it. I can tell you that when we reported to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the Universal Periodic Review, we got very good commendation. Yes. Jamaica does not, and I hope will never have, a human rights problem. We have the Office of the Public Defender, If you have a difficulty, you can go to the Office of the Public Defender and prosecute any human rights breach. They are empowered to prosecute any human rights breach. Madam Speaker, we are engaged in a number of departments, which I will not go through, but if you look at Appendix 23, you will see the Law Revision Secretariat. You will see what we have done on human rights, Appendix 22. Legal education, we have had several sensitization programs with judges, clerks of courts, GPs. Madam Speaker, I must conclude. We close this 2026 sectoral presentation with a clarion call to our justice stakeholders and all Jamaicans to help sustain our efforts of building a stronger justice system. Yes. Inspired by NARA's vision of fast-track project delivery, we look forward to constructing new courts and renovating damaged justice facilities. We will adopt climate-resilient and modern engineering standards, as well as public-private partnerships to meet our infrastructure goals. The implementation of the paperless, integrated electronic case management system, the IECMS, will further bolster our efforts at digital transformation in the Jamaican courts and strengthen the wider justice system. Madam Speaker, this sectoral presentation has once again highlighted and promoted a range of conflict resolution tools as our free and accessible island-wide social justice programs in restorative justice, child diversion, victim services, mediation, etc. Our financing of the win-win mediation services is intended to result in a more peaceful and harmonious Jamaica. Yeah. Our recently launched island-wide forum and alternative dispute resolution, ADR, will continue to be paired with estate management and planning guidelines as we aim to reduce deadlift-related incidents of violence within families. Madam Speaker, let me say I'm proud to be a part of this Andrew Holness-led cabinet. Everything that I've asked for to uplift and build a strong justice system, the Ministers of Finance from Audley Shaw, Nigel Clark, and now Favour Williams, we get. The only thing stopping us in terms of money is the procurement thing. And we have to overcome this procurement thing. Because we have the funds are available. The funds are available, but procurement frequently we can't get the courts built. Madam Speaker, this administration has ensured that anyone who's ever want justice need their head examined. Because you can get justice. And let me remind you of the number. AAA Justice 587-8423. And they will help you to get justice. So, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the strong support of my colleagues have ensured that this is a proud Justice Minister. And I call on all parliamentarians, let us help our fellow Jamaicans to live peacefully and harmoniously. Indeed, I will be soon with a member from Northeast St. Elizabeth to say how best she can help. So finally, Madam Speaker, our 2025-26 achievements chronicled in this sectoral presentation, including major justice reform initiatives such as changes to Jamaica's expungement framework and its positive impact on hundreds of Jamaican lives. We anticipate similar success stories and our constitutional reform initiatives, which will undoubtedly contribute to building a stronger justice system for Jamaica. Madam Speaker, colleagues, I say blessings to all Jamaicans. And may God bless all of us. Thank you.
He said you give him everything you want.
Delroy. Vamos por el Bami.
House Leader. House Leader. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, after such an exceptional presentation by the best justice minister that this country has seen, we will gesture no longer. And we will move to the presentation. We will move to the presentation from a wonderful member of parliament. Member of Parliament for St. Catherine, North Central.